What is going on, everybody? My name's Stefan Coons. I'm the owner of Pursuit Health and Performance. I'm here with Nick, one of our clients of Pursuit. Nick, do you mind introducing yourself, giving people just a little bit of background on, who you are, what you do for work, and why you joined Pursuit?
No problem. My name is Nicholas Guzman. I'm currently 24 years old, and I work in a psych unit in a hospital. Basically as like an aide to the nurses.
Mhm.
And the reason I joined Pursuit is because my goal, my dream, is to be a police officer. And I had a police test coming up, and I was nowhere near ready to pass that test.
Yeah, yeah. I know when we first talked, there's three components of the fitness test, right? And just to go off track for a little bit, we have a lot of people that come to us for this exact reason, whether it's the military, because I was a PTL in the military. So my job was to help people pass our PC test, which was a
Mhm.
run, push up, sit ups, which is what you had to
Mhm.
do, right?
Yeah.
I know the CPAT and certain fire tests or SWAT, like there's some more stuff. The AFCT for the Army is a little bit different, but like generally the components are like strength, cardio. Now you came to us being pretty good on some stuff, but you were on a time crunch. So when
Yeah.
you first came to us, I think you said, "Hey, dude, I need some help. My test is in like 2 months, right?
No, 5 weeks.
5 weeks. Okay, even more, right?" So I'm
Yeah.
like, Nick, I remember the conversation. I'm like, we can help you, but you have to do everything your coach says because you are like past crunch time. And he's like, dude,
Yeah.
I'll do anything my coach says. Like I will do whatever. Now, when you first came to us, what was your push-ups like? Give us your standards: push-ups, sit-ups, runs, what you had to do to pass.
What I needed to pass.
Mhm.
It was 29 push-ups.
Yep.
It was 30 sit-ups in a minute, and a mile and a half. And I think the most was 12:38.
Okay. When you first came to us 5 weeks out, what were your scores on all those?
I think my push-ups were like between 20 and 22.
Pretty good. Yeah.
Sit-ups were like 30, and my mile and a half was like 19 minutes.
19, right? So
Yeah.
that was one thing when he came to us. I'm like, you know, man, that's a big chunk. Now, the good thing about cardio, and if you understand, exercise physiology, is like you could make pretty big improvements. And you were running, but like you didn't have a plan, right? You're like, I don't know, dude. I'm just like I'm going on runs. I'm kind of frantically doing whatever I can do,
Yeah.
push-ups and sit-ups. And I know a big thing for you, and part of the reason that it was challenging, not only did you not have like an actual running plan, but you had a lot of weight to lose. And I know
Yeah.
within 5 weeks of the program, well, you ended up doing 2 months. You did the month and then we extended it another month so you could pass your tests. You ended up losing like 30 pounds, right?
Yeah. That was the most weight ever. When I started with you guys, I was at 290, which is the heaviest I've ever been in my life.
Yeah.
And by the time I finished, I was between 255 and 260.
Yeah. And you said that's the most weight you've ever lost in that period of
Yeah.
time, right?
Yeah. Never that much. Yeah.
So do you feel like in that weight loss journey, it was like, and I know we went pretty hard in the paint because it was a crunch time, but do you feel
Yeah.
like it was this drastic starving yourself, like terrible diet that you had to lose all that weight?
No, it definitely showed me how unhealthy I was eating beforehand, and it showed me what I should more or less be eating more often. It just really it like showed me how much I was overeating
Yeah. Yeah.
because I wasn't. I mean, I was hungry because I ate a lot normally, but I wasn't like I was functioning. I was good. I would eat a meal and then I was satisfied.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's good because I think I mean, we've had clients lose 75 pounds in a year. Obviously, you had a pretty good amount of weight to lose. You're on the heavier side, so you're going to see more rapid weight loss in the beginning. That's pretty
Yeah,
normal. But 30 pounds in a couple months, not starving yourself. And people would assume, like, dude, what'd you eat? You ate like a bunny, like just rabbit, like salads and chicken. You're like, no, dude, I actually ate food. I'm sure Mike probably had you eating a lot of like red meat, I'm
yeah,
assuming. Yeah.
yeah.
Um, and so some stuff to help you with your performance, and the numbers speak for themselves. So you ended up passing your test, right?
Yes.
5 weeks. You were at like a 19-minute mile. And what did you pass with? What was your run time?
Well, I finished at 12:23.
Yeah. That's huge, bro. Like 7 minutes off your time. That's insane in five
Yeah,
weeks. So I mean, kudos to you. You put in the work. Um, but also that just shows the power of the program, right? Like if you do what your coach says, if you listen to them. Now, I know when you first joined, just like the vast majority of our clients, you never work with an online coach ever.
No.
I know you kind of put your feelers out online, and I called you and you're like, how are you going to help me online? How is your experience working with an online coach? Because I know there's a lot of hesitation when people look for trainers. They're like, I have to go to the gym down my street.
Yeah.
Like, what would you say to those people, and what was your experience?
Definitely. Even when I told people what I was doing, they were like, it's like kind of weird, but it's definitely I liked it more because not only is it where Mike was, he knew what he was talking about. I could go on my own time. I have
Mhm.
a crazy schedule. My schedule, I work like 16-hour shifts. And it was good having an online coach because he used to give me the workouts. I can wake up at the crack of dawn, go before work, and get my workouts in. And it was just more convenient for me. And he answered me all the time. If I had a question, I would text him, and he would always pick up. He would always let me know what I needed. He would always give me information. Like it was convenient. It was more convenient, I feel like, than having a scheduled time with some guy where I got to move my schedule around to meet him at the gym.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I know because most of our coaches, like me, Coach Mike, Coach Ryan, Coach Bryce, we've all worked in gyms for like 10 years. Like that's the
Yeah.
life of it, right? And I think this provides a lot more flexibility to this community in general, like the first responder, everyday hero community, or just anybody that's a shift worker. 16 hours is a beast of a day, man. Like,
Yeah.
if you had to like think about what you're going to do, you probably wouldn't do the workout, right? Which was kind of the issue, right? You're like,
Yeah.
ah, I got to go to the gym, but even if I go, I don't really know what I'm doing. I'll just go tomorrow, right? But now
Exactly.
you're held accountable from your coach. You have a set plan. You know exactly what you're doing. If you don't go, Mike's going to be like, "Hey Nick, let's go. You have a goal." And obviously, dude, you put in the freaking work. You lost 30 pounds in a little less than 2 months. You passed your test in 5 weeks. You did awesome. So hats off to you for that.
Thank you.
Uh, and I'm glad that you said the flexibility thing, because I think that's what's needed with this community, is something to where it is convenient, right? Like every mental barrier, you're like, oh, I got to go to the gym, I got to do this, and then also just the cost too. Like in-person trainers generally are significantly more expensive, and they don't do nutrition, right?
Yeah, that's
So
another
a
thing.
big
Yeah.
downfall for you. I know when we first chatted, you're like, dude, it's not that I won't do the work, but I probably need some help with nutrition, right? That's where a lot of the weight loss comes from. And I
100%.
need like a structured plan. You touched on this a little bit, but I'm just genuinely super curious. How do you feel like the just overall like communication, accountability, customer service was working with Pursuit and Coach Mike specifically?
Uh, like I said, Mike was if I had a question, he'd answer it. When it came to food, I would have days where I would text Mike. I'll be like, Mike, I'm really craving soda right now. He's like, if you drink a soda, it's gonna ruin all the progress you've done so far. Go drink some water.
Yeah.
And just I'm a type of guy who likes real people. He gets it real with me.
Yeah.
Like he would tell me, don't eat that. You could eat this. And I remember one night I went out to a restaurant with some friends, and he's like, show me the menu. He's like, you could order this thing off the menu. This would be good for you.
Yeah.
So
That's
like
awesome.
having that 24/7 pretty much like access to a professional who could always give me tips and tricks was really good for me.
Yeah.
So like I said, I really like Mike. He's a cool guy.
Yeah, no, he's a great coach. And I think one of the big things for us, like one of the big reasons I like online and I chose to like do my business online versus in person, because I could have opened a big gym and done all that, is the level of customization specifically for this community and the flexibility, but also just the communication, right?
Yeah.
Um, like it's important. I know there's questions people have. Even when I did in-person training, there was people that would be like, "Hey, what do I eat here? And what do I eat?" And I'm like, but they'd have to wait to the next session. They're not
Yeah.
texting me, right? And then they would forget. And then we're like, "Hey, let's do the workout." And then they would never get to ask those, and they never get to get educated and so to like learn to fish for themselves, so to speak, right? So
Exactly.
it's cool that you can kind of basically communicate with your coach on the fly. I know we're not like always on our phone, but pretty quick response times.
Yeah.
And you're learning, because now by asking the coach, hey, should I do this? What do you think about this? Hey, I was thinking this. What should I do? And that little voice in your head. And then when you do leave the program, you're like, hey, I'm going to continue these habits. Like, I know why I shouldn't drink the soda. Not
Yeah.
just maybe just the physical, but just the mental. I'm going to start craving it again, and it's going to come back in. Or, hey,
Yeah.
when I go to this restaurant, I should order this kind of thing because XYZ, not just, hey, Nick, order this, right?
Yeah.
I know Mike is really good at explaining things.
Yeah.
And so
Definitely.
that's the buy-in too. You're like, oh, okay. So when I'm here, I'm going to eat this. I'm not going to order this because of these reasons. Now you've learned. And now when you go to another restaurant, you kind of understand what you're looking for. And that's a big thing for us is we don't want to just say, hey, Nick, lose the 30 pounds. Great job. Did you pass your test? Go off on your own. And you have the same
Mhm.
amount of education,
Yeah.
right? You feel like you learned quite a bit in a short amount of time.
No, I learned a lot. I learned a lot that I didn't know before. He explained to me how, like, I never knew beforehand that sugar becomes carbs. I didn't understand that, and I'm Hispanic, so I eat rice all the time, and I didn't understand that was impeding my weight loss. And Mike would break it down for me, like, if you're gonna eat carbs, eat them after you work out, burn off the fat, right?
Yeah.
Or he was very thorough on how, like, why I should drink stuff. He would tell me how soda is bad for my gut. It's just that there's like a bad, I forget, like acids or something like that for the stomach. Like he would explain to me why I shouldn't do certain things, and
Yeah.
it's stuff I think about today. I still think about that stuff today when I eat.
Yeah. Well, it's good, right? That those habits
Yeah,
are supposed to stick with you. And we don't expect anybody to be a robot and just like cut out every single thing that they love. I mean, there's a balance, right?
yeah,
But also understanding like it's emotional buy-in, bro. Like if somebody's like, your parents, don't do this, and you're like, I'm gonna listen to you because like I know I'm gonna get in trouble, but like as soon as you're not looking, guess what? I'm gonna do it
I'm gonna
again.
do it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But like if your boss or your parent, or whatever, can actually explain it and you're like, I kind of agree with that. I see your point. You are more
mhm,
likely to buy in, and that's a big thing. We want you guys to understand why you're doing what you're doing or why you're not doing what you're doing.
yeah,
And last thing I have for you, and I appreciate you jumping on. This is going to be super helpful. You came in a short amount of time, crunch time, had a goal. What would you say to somebody that's maybe like on the fence of, your interview, I guess, is specifically for people that maybe are looking to like pass a test.
yeah,
Um, we have had, Mike specifically, and some of our other coaches have helped people get in shape for, officer training school, firefighting, all those things. But if somebody was on the fence, like what would you tell that person about working with us?
join.
Yeah.
There's nothing to lose. I mean, if you're on the fence and you're worried, if you have like, you're skeptical about the online stuff. Like I'm a very skeptical guy personally, and that's just how I am. I don't trust people naturally, but I jumped in and I reaped the benefits. I passed a test that everyone would tell me, yeah, it's not impossible, but they didn't believe I could do it.
Yeah.
And in a month time, a month and a week, I did the impossible, and it was thanks to you guys' help. Even
Yeah.
the people around me, the people I work with, they're like, "Who was your guy?" Because what you did is insane. What you were able to accomplish is like almost unheard of.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. I mean, it speaks to, the caliber of coaches we obviously have. I
Yes,
only hire the best, but also, like I said, I want to put you on the pedestal and the work you put in too. And I know for you joining too, right? You work a lot. You're young. This was an investment for you too.
of course,
To join. I mean, do you feel like it was worth the investment and kind of putting in the money, time, effort into the program?
100%, 100%.
Yeah.
I don't regret joining. I don't regret doing what I had to do. Like it, the work is hard, and obviously I had to get up in the morning and do what I got to do, but 100% worth it.
Yeah, for sure, dude. Well, I'm proud of you. The whole team's
Thank you.
proud of you. And yeah, man, I mean, and I remember having this conversation with you about setting up your future. I'm like, dude, if in 5 weeks you open this door and that's just a new chapter of your life. And for those of you, if you're watching this and maybe you're already in law enforcement or fire or whatever, and you're like, maybe need some help passing my test, or I'm just not holding myself to a higher standard. Like there's always room to do better. There's always room to work. And here's the thing too, dude, you unlocked a version of yourself that basically that you could do anything. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like next time you give yourself excuses, you're like, yeah, but like only had 5 weeks to train. And, and I
Hmm.
challenge myself for those things too. I'm like, hey, Stefan, in 8 weeks training, you're going to do this crazy event. And then I do it. And then every time that I'm like facing some difficulties or hardships, I'm like, dude, you like grinded through that. Like if you could do that, you could do this. Like there's
Hmm.
no excuse, right? And we have to kind of check ourselves. And so I'm hoping that like is a huge mental win for you too.
It is. I
Right.
definitely, I think that all the time.
Yeah. Yeah,
I
dude.
have no excuse.
Yep, no excuses. I'm proud of it. Cool, dude. Well, I appreciate you jumping on. This was super helpful. Again, dude, we look forward to continuing to work with you, and I'm sure your career as an officer, you're going to do great. And this is like
Thank you.
just the tip of the iceberg, just the beginning, dude. I know you're going to keep prioritizing your health, right? It doesn't stop at just passing the tests, which I know
No,
you know
yeah,
that. And you know, we get officers that are new a couple years, 20 years, and it's a lifelong thing about like keeping your body in physical shape so you can show up, get home to your family safe,
of
protect the
course.
community, perform. So I know this is just a start for you, but you're off to a good start, brother.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate
Yeah.
your help, man.
Yeah, of course.